Hi, I'm Rich Pyle, the host of Hole Nation, where we share everything this cornhole and a lot more. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and catch our new videos every Wednesday at 7. And remember, whether it's sticky or slick side down, bring it.
What do you say, hole heads? It's that time of week. Step up to the condiment bar and make yourself a taco. It is Taco Tuesday. There you go.
Man, I've been waiting to open that for a few minutes.
Yeah, a few minutes. Yeah, a few split seconds. I bet a few of them were opened up over the last couple of weeks since you were here last. But we had a good time in your absence last week. Finn, the loudmouth for the ACO, the prodigal son, the Cornhole Dude, Frank Geers, he's back. Where were you again? What'd you do? What were you doing?
On the West Coast, doing some
chilling on the left coast.
Chilling on the West Coast, baby.
Well, bottom line was outdoing the business of the business. Anthony Russell, good evening, sir. Glad to have you along for the ride here on the YouTube channel. I know you've got a few checking things out here, and questions are always welcome in both comment sections here and on Facebook.
Jack Harcrow was the first one to tune in tonight. Welcome, Jack.
That dude is a Black Hills aficionado. He knows the Black Hills and all the surrounding areas in and out. We got a few pictures that he spared with us. So, in fact, I think these are those photos right now. I think, I'm not sure.
Are those some of Jack's photos?
That's the hugest tree stump I've ever seen, that one there. He's got a buffalo. That's a cool, I like that sign. Obviously, the Mount Rushmore. We talked a little bit about Mount Rushmore of Cornhole last week, but I love it. Harcrow always... I think second only to you with regard to selfie skills in the ACO. I really do.
He does a pretty decent job.
Hopefully you had a great opportunity to, if you got an opportunity to get out there and be a part of it, all anybody has said, and I've not been there for an ACO event, but I've been there I went out to Sturgis and we talked about that, went into Deadwood, did not get to see the Badlands, didn't get to see Crazy Horse, didn't get to see, Mount Rushmore. Gotta go next year. That's all I've heard.
That's everybody keeps saying gotta go. I was in a cool part of the country. I was out, in Oregon on a trade show thing that I was at, trying to, pump in some, some new events for us next season and stuff. But I was totally bummed looking at all the great things going on out there in South Dakota, man.
And the Candlers covered things, and we'll get to that here in the results in just a little while. But a great staff that pulled off a fantastic event. And at the Box, of all places, great Thursday night event. It was a lot of fun. So we'll get to the results here in a few. Don't forget to subscribe. If you are watching the YouTube channel and you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Also, you can share this, and there's more to it here on the YouTube channel we'll get to here in just a second as well, because we want to find out how your ninja skills. Phil isn't the only ninja we have. We have started to draft brand new ACO Digital Network ninjas. And these are the people that are going to be willing to help us with what's behind us, and that is ACO TV. And when I say help us, certainly whenever you're on center court, you're helping. If you're out and about in the crowd and you got a personality and you're not a human tree stump, you're helping. But you also, if you happen to go out someplace where they've got the internet up, whether it's on a computer or on a TV, or go to a bar and they've got up digital TV, ask them to throw on the ACO TV channel.
24/7, baby.
24/7. There's constant content running. I know there's content being added. Do we add it? I know we were told to add some more last week. There's some new stuff coming this week, so just keep rolling through. But just all you have to do is go to the ACO YouTube page, and it's the very first thing right there at the top. Click on it. Boom. This is what you get. Constant cornhole, just the way you like it. So check it out.
Jerry O'Sullivan just tuned in. So Jerry, if you haven't seen that yet, you need to check that out, my friend.
Absolutely. That's our man. That's our buddy from Kia. I tell you what, I thought you were hard to keep up with.
Oh,
Jerry,
he's all over the place.
I swear to God, I think he's twins or maybe triplets. Because I think each of his triplets, his two other brothers, maybe have also the same Facebook page. There's no way that guy can be all the places he is at the same time. It's like a magic trick.
Yeah, you were talking about ninjas before.
Yeah.
Remember how good he was with darts? I mean, he was like a ninja when we played in Dubuque.
He was the one. Remember the one that No, did he? Are the comments on
they're there. Dart game highlights from Dubuque,
yes,
man.
I believe one went into the toe of my shoe. I think there was one that went through a window. But outside of that, he did a great job. It was really good stuff. It was his karaoke that blew me away.
Adam Brower tuning in.
Nice.
Tammy Klinger is in the house.
Right on, Tammy. I'm going to be leaning. Tammy, are you going to be in Toledo this weekend? I think you are. I think you guys are. I'm going to be leaning in on you, and I'll get a hold of you this week. But, whether you're dialing up ACO TV at a bar or anywhere you go that's got the internet up, just pop it up and let people check it out as they're walking by. Let them see what it's all about. If they're looking for a new TV or a new computer or whatever it is, you see someplace that's got the internet.
It's really cool, dude. I mean, we did that in Peoria, Illinois this year at the bar restaurant inside the hotel there. So,
and if you find a place with a smart TV and you can cast it up from your phone, they love that. Not really, but it's still fun. Our socials, if you haven't seen them in a minute, the last couple of weeks, trying some different things with Instagram in particular. You know how to find us. Instagram, we're on the X, but we don't do a lot there. But Facebook, Instagram, and the new look of what's going on Instagram is pretty cool. And it's going to continue to develop and get cooler. So make sure that you get in there, you like us, you follow us, and submit, tag us and do all of the stuff that you're supposed to do. I'm going to leave that in the hands of people far more capable to explain it than I am and to produce it, as a matter of fact.
We might want to next week or something. Just grab a snippet of an example of the Instagram stuff and share it on here, man.
Yeah, right now, basically, cool. Right now you're looking at some of the reels that they've put together, these guys, and we're not going to tell you who they are. They're secret agents of the ACO, but it's good stuff. But yeah, also something else to keep your eye on, too, on the ACO page. We do quick pitch games, 2, 3, 4 minute games. Dallas, some of these games are so good out of Dallas, the full matches are being played with the Big D commentary. So if you haven't seen those, check some of those out, the full matches. Anything that we can do just to keep your interest and keep feeding that beast that is your Cornhole Jones, we will do that for you. Instagram, TikTok. I don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. I don't know if I'm going to throw my eggs in that basket just yet. But, check out those full matches from Dallas, the new look and feel of the website. We've got some new player features up there as well. I think Maggie Geiger and Wayne Rao are up there. Mason Higgins we've done. But there's some good ones up there. So check out the new look and feel of the website. But now it's an opportunity for my my lovely co-host to show you some of our featured bag partners of the week.
This is where I got to practice. I've been conditioning for this.
You have been? Yeah.
I've been conditioning.
All right, so let's start. You want to start low right, to your right. All right. Bad Boys with a Z, Cornhole.
Bang.
Little Bad Boys right there.
Design out too. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Not necessarily in alphabetical order, but B3. We haven't had a B3 bag.
Cobra.
So those Cobras look good. You can see the logo down on the bottom there. Bramey's bags. Oh man, we are almost going alphabetically here. Bramey's right here, some cool ones right there, and then you're rolling clockwise to the top left. Killer Bees. So really, it has been all bees.
It's all bees today.
All bees except for high rollers.
There's nothing on that side because it's a carpet bag.
Look at that. But yeah, look at the high rollers.
Very nice.
Here they're going to wrap things up here on our featured bags, and we always like to. Not just pay
the
tribute.
Back design of that one, that's extra special, man. They did
Pretty
a great
cool
job with that one.
Yeah, I'd like to pay tribute to those who are up top, some of the new bags that we bring in and are approved for the ACO in the upcoming rest of the season or the upcoming season. I know the appeal is out to the bag manufacturers if you want to get in and be a part of Season 20, the historic Season 20 for the ACO. Time is running out to be able to be grandfathered in, so make sure you pay attention to that as well. If you haven't gotten into the page in a minute, you might want to get in there and check it out. Mystery grab bag is available for you at AmericanCornhole.com. You could go in there for $30 plus shipping, grab a set of approved ACO stamp bags. You may love them. You may want to trade them. Who knows? But the price is right. You can't miss it. AmericanCornhole.com. Also the Facebook page. We do the bag partner deal of the day. Every single day, $60 shipped. And there's only 2 sets that are being offered every day.
Yep.
They drop at noon. Check them out. When they're gone, they're gone. And then that's it. And then we move on to another one the next day.
What's cool about that is you actually get to see the bags you're buying. You know exactly what you're buying. You know exactly the model, the look, the shape. And
it's a chance for the bag manufacturers to show you 2 different lines of bags they've got, 2 different designs, but they only have to put up two sets. And that's it. And then the rest of it, you got to reach out to them. And again, I'll tell you the same thing I tell you every time. If you're new to watching what we've got going on here, and Bullseye Cornhole's checking things out, good to see you guys. If you're getting into the game and maybe you don't have a bag, or you know that you play a certain way, you tend to throw a higher arc, or you tend to come in hot, maybe you don't know what kind of bags you need. It's a good chance you don't know what you don't know. but somebody on here does. So if you want to ask a question in the comments, what kind of bag should I be throwing? Here's what I do. Somebody will reach in and help you and give you a suggestion from one of our bag partners. I promise you that. So make sure you do that. Also, another chance to win, and this is the best price of all, $0, absolutely free. The best way to win a set of approved stamped bags is to pre-register for an upcoming tournament. Now, for the Toledo tournament, it was Steve Heath from Michigan and James Close from West Virginia. Each of them are going to have an opportunity to grab a free set of bags. And like I said, if they like them, they can play with them. If they don't work for their game, they can trade them, whatever they want to do. I don't have our winners from Mobile, but I know we will have winners from Mobile that will be claimed.
So I know they're talking great stuff about bags and the World Championships. And I'll tell you, one of the things we have going on at the World Championships is the tailgater thing.
Yeah.
That we'll have 16 of our different bag partners that will be showcasing, anywhere between 1 to 4 of their lines of bags during a couple of those tournaments. But it made me think about the World Championships because John Steins is coming to the Worlds, baby. I can't wait to see it, brother.
Coming in from across the Atlantic, he's going to make the transatlantic handshake this way. I would expect maybe a couple of other players. We know our friends from Cornwall are coming back in. I think they're coming in on the back side of the week for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But then I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to make some time to come from Throwensboro up to Cincinnati and spend some time. So
I'm looking forward to it all, man. And
I'll tell you, on a plan.
Hal talking about, we have to figure out, I mean, each show we keep talking about this, me being our Vanna White, but nobody really knows who Vanna White is unless you're 50 plus years old.
She's still on. She's still on.
So we still have to find a new Vanna White, so the younger generation can relate to who I am, the guy that has to, pick these bags up and show them to us.
Who would that be? I don't even know.
I don't know. We have to think it. We'll let somebody chime in.
Like
but
McAfee doesn't have.
Hal is on here talking about how I'm no Vanna White. But Jerry, thank you for the comment, telling him I'm just lovely the way I am. Right? I appreciate it, man.
He wears an evening gown like nobody's business. This one in his off hours. But yeah, we're gonna get more talk about the Worlds coming up here in a little bit. But speaking of early registration, the best pricing on early registration for Camp Margaritaville is on through Sunday at midnight. So you're still a couple of weeks away. And a couple of things we'll talk about here. But if you want the best pricing on entry tickets, that's the best way to go right now. Get in there and get them because we're getting down to the last couple of majors of season 19. So make sure you don't miss that opportunity.
4, right?
Yeah,
2 this weekend, and then we have
this weekend,
Margaritaville and then Branson.
Good golly, it seems impossible.
Yeah, somebody just asked the question about when will registration open for the Worlds. David Jones asked that question. Good question. That opens at the end of the season, so that'll be early June, right at the end of our World Championship, right at the end of the Branson event. Once we get all the players seated the way they are, rankings stand the way they are, it'll be live in June.
Yeah, we kind of have to know who has the opportunity to go where to do that. But Branson, there's also a little twist to the Pro Series in Branson, and if you missed it when we talked about it about 3 or 4 weeks ago, stick around because we're going to tell you more about this. It's an expansion of the Pro Series for the 5th and final one of the season. I love this whole idea. I didn't even come up with it, so it's rare. Jacob Whaley was our survey winner in Dallas. So Jacob has an opportunity to take his feedback that he gave us and get a little free feedback if you will, on some upcoming major tickets as well. So for Jacob Watley, I said Whaley. Is it Jacob Whaley?
It's Whaley.
It is. Whaley's a different. I was going to say it can't be the. So, I mean, Whaley's got enough hair for 2 Jacobs.
Jacob Watley's
Watley plays out of
darn
Texas.
Good player out of Texas.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
that whomped me. He threw a perfect game, I think, against me.
Did he?
Yeah. People just tend to do that.
Yeah, except for on Thursday nights, and then sometimes luck will prevail. So speaking of the Worlds, you mentioned that we posted and we put out a simple overview of the Worlds, which is basically Tuesday through Saturday, the core divisions. But Monday night at the Worlds is going to be a huge party. It's typically we have a good time, but this is going to be a whole other thing. We'll tell you more about later. But we're adding a few days to the front of the Worlds with different events, and we'll tell you more about them. But I know the AAU is part of that,
the adaptive,
which is cool. The adaptive cornhole is going to be part of that. And there's just going to be, if you want to come in early on the weekend and spend some time, maybe you run around and you go see some of the different things, Holiday Land and Holiday World and all that, and you want to run around maybe to some distilleries, run up to Louisville, whatever it is, you've got time to do all that and then get back for the core competition. You're going to want to pay attention here over the next few weeks when we tell you what these first 3 or 4 days are going to be all about. the Black Hills, we just got back from Black Hills in Rapid City, South Dakota. We're talking about all the different photos and everything that you've submitted, everything you've seen. But last week while you were gone, we talked about who would be on the Mount Rushmore of cornhole. We had some pretty great feedback. There were some good names, a lot of repeat names. I mean, Matt Guy certainly was on there.
Sure.
You were on there. Quite a few people said you should be on there.
Really?
Yeah. Well, maybe facing the other way.
Opposite.
But, yeah, maybe they'll carve you into the backs. No, but I mean, as far as cornhole goes,
Yeah.
you, Matt, one of the ones that Heinerman brought up, and quite a few people agreed with, was Eric Zockline, EZ. He's a guy that really kind of came up and goes, hey, I'm here too, and did some business, got some business done. It was always a favorite of fellow players and fans and everyone alike. But I mean, there were some, but Randy Atha was another name. Where would he fit in there? Steve Vandiver, where would he be in that Mount Rushmore? So if you had 4 to pick, who would it be? And would there be, if you had, let's say you had an old school, I'm asking you, old school and maybe a new school.
Just players.
Just players. Okay. So old school and maybe a new school, or if you want to combine, who would it be?
Can I answer that next week? I mean, I can say that I'd go with Matt Guy. As far as representatives of the sport, if you're going old school and founding fathers to the sport is the way I look at it. I think you do have to look at it that way. Is Matt Guy, Randy Atha, you already mentioned. I do think you have to throw Steve Vanderveer in there. I think that Steve, he was a person in the early days that was super, super strong. And I got to be honest, he never won a world title or anything, but a founding father to the ACO is Mike Schaefer Sr. That's who I would put up on there.
Yep, that's the one I wasn't going to tell you that people were talking about, but people were talking about. Schaefer was a guy, if he needed to be the grist in the mill to make things better, he was. If he needed to be a cheerleader, he was a cheerleader, and he was. If he needed to win something, he won it. If he needed to show up, he showed up.
Yeah.
And I would completely agree with you.
And those 4 would be a great representation for Mount Rushmore.
That's good stuff. I love it. So anyway, we'll get into the results here in just a moment, but that was something that generated a lot of hype. And if you want to throw maybe a modern day Mount Rushmore in to the comments, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook, go ahead. That's really, we didn't really get into that, but right now, of the current day players, anybody you'd see at a typical major today, throw those down there. I'd love to see those in the comments.
I could tell you. I could tell you something right now that I'd throw.
We need someone to win 2 of them.
Somebody needs to win 2. Yeah. No.
Need somebody to win 2 of them. That would be a big thing.
Yeah.
But no, there's some good ones out there today to choose to be part of that for sure.
All right,
I don't know who that might be.
This weekend is why we call this the ACO Civil War. It's the North versus the South. Will the South rise again? Don't know. Toledo versus Mobile. We're splitting. We're heading north and we're heading south. In theory, we're having streaming from both, so your head will probably explode right off of your neck with the amount of streaming that you'll be getting this weekend. But the question is, who's going to win the battle of the Civil War? Will it be Toledo? Our first trip to the Glass City is kicking ass. It's pretty solid numbers.
Right now, the
some really good talent.
It's like Michigan, Ohio, and then a bunch of other states have infiltrated and supported the Toledo
Congealed
one.
around Toledo.
Yeah, Arkansas, Alabama, and the big ones down there. Even Tennessee have filtrated the Mobile.
It's literally brother against brother.
And they're about equal right now, chasing this.
Who's going to step up?
Yeah, so we'll see, man.
It's literally brother against brother because Tyler Amos is going to be in Toledo and Craig Irvin is going to be playing doubles down in Mobile.
Wow.
So that's going to be interesting. You'll learn more about that here in Time to Fill coming up, where you'll hear his picks for both. And he's right. There are loaded fields north and south. Who will come out on top? Who will win the ACO Major Civil War? We'll find out. We'll find out who Phil thinks is going to do it. And then after that, Camp Margaritaville, our second to last major. This one is the one that we've talked about a number of times where it's just so much fun to get out in a whole different kind of atmosphere that you're looking at right now. And if there's still an opportunity to rent slip space and RVs and campers that can be brought there for you. You don't have to go get them. you can call and get a hold of Camp Margaritaville, and they will have them for you. So if you want to split them like you would an Airbnb and be right on property and take advantage of everything going on there, the pool, the bar, all of that stuff, you can do that instead of maybe going out to an Airbnb or a hotel. But there is hotel information available. We hit a reminder for you today on the Facebook page. If you need to link to any of that information, it's all there. But this looks like a really fun way to experience Camp Margaritaville, and you've done it firsthand.
I've done it firsthand. Matter of fact, that might even be me showing you what's going on from last year when I got down there. So
it very well may.
So that was an awesome experience. If you haven't been down there, come on down there this year. There's still plenty of time to sign up. Love to see you.
Yeah.
We got a great welcome bash down there too, Finn. Like on Thursday night, we get pizza that's brought in. We got beer that's flowing, and bags that are flying.
And it's on property too. So you get an extra night on property, and you can just tippy toe back to your camper when you're done. So I think honestly, if I was going to be able to make it, that's what I would do. I would get the camper and slip in right there because I'd want to be on property and be able just to walk everywhere for the entire 3 days. I'm good that way. I like the all-inclusive. I don't want to have to really go anywhere. When I get in and I'm like a tick. I get my head set in and I get entrenched.
You're ready to roll, baby.
And then I start sucking the blood out of every place around me, just like that. But Camp Margaritaville, don't miss out. You've still got the early registration deals on tickets to play, and also, again, all these opportunities to get in to stay. So we got you covered there. And then it's hard to believe it's the final major of season 19. It feels like we were just starting season 19, and we're looking down the barrel of the final major in Branson.
I know. It is hard to believe because, I mean, shoot, I've been to 26 or 7 of them this year. And I still have 3 more to go to, so it might hit the 30 mark, man. Is there any kind of special prize I can get for going to 30 majors?
Yes, you get the. I don't know what we'll call that one, but we did find out though, and I think I'm sure he's not the only one, but I think Mike Walters was telling Tina that when it's all said and done, he and his wife will have traveled 35,000 miles this season.
Yeah, it's a lot of miles.
35,000.
I think they're at 32 right now. They still have some miles to travel. But
30, Get it together, would you? You got some miles to go.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about it on one of the previous shows, Finn, but there's very good chance we're going to break our all-time record for the most Road Dog awards this year.
No question.
We're staring down the barrel of at least 40 potential players, Finn, that went to 13 or more majors this year. And thank you guys. That's so incredible.
That's remarkable.
It is.
It speaks to the family. It speaks to the fun.
We got to get a wide-angle lens to get the photograph that.
And we're going to have to get a bigger truck to take the.
Well, no, it's a separate semi.
The barrel heads, unbelievable. We might have to come up with a lighter weight award, just so we don't smash an axle on the way to wherever we're going. But how great is that? And Branson, the reason I bring it up, and we talk and focused on the final major of the year, is the Pro Series. This represents the 5th and final Pro Series. We had the tentpole Super Major in January in Thronesboro as a way to just go, hey, don't forget we're coming back in July. But we wrapped the season and the series up with the Pro Series Skins games in Branson like we have the last few years. And this one is cool. It's not just a bracket of 16. You probably knew that. It's a bracket of 32. Now, how do we get to the bracket of 32? It's interesting because we actually have visual aids to help you with. We don't have them up behind us. They're on the screen right now.
But that's just, you're getting ready to point.
Yeah, I was winding up my pointer finger. So this is how this works, okay? And feel free to jump in anytime you'd like, Frank, if you would like to
explain. No, you're right now.
This.
I mean, you got, the top 16 ranked players at the end of the season going into Branson from the Pro Series.
Yep.
Get, the pass, the hall pass. They make the cut. They don't have to throw the frame game, right?
Right.
All other pros that show up throw the frame game. The top 16 players from the frame game throw end up being seeded 17 through 32. They are going to have to come up on stage while the other 16 stand across from them. And one player at a time, starting with the number 1 overall seed, this guy will get to pick from the 16 across from him, players 17 through 32, to say who he thinks he can take down. Or she
wants to play against.
She.
And I love it. It's the, I don't think there's going to be that, but there's the bottom line is it's going to be fun to watch because there's going to be a lot of strategy. And, I mean, you might think number 1 would automatically pick number 32. No, you've played against one another enough to know whose game,
where your game
you've got,
right.
where your game comes in, and how
buddy.
far in someone's head are you? Because, again, it then moves you to the next round. And, again, don't forget, these skins, each one of them is worth cashola. So this is going to be fun to watch how these games are going to pare themselves down. And I'm going to be interested in the first 4 picks and the last 4 picks. Those are going to be, to me, the most interesting. Can't wait to do this. Expand the field to 32. And you get a reward for being in the top 16 over the course
I can't
of
wait
the
to
season.
see the first pick. I can't wait to see who the number 1 guy
or girl.
chooses, or girl, you keep saying it, the number 1 person.
It's like Monty Python. It's like The Life of Brian.
We already know who it is.
But the number
We
1
already know
person.
who it is.
Yeah, we already know who the number 1 pick is.
The number 1 pick will be.
Let me look it up.
He's going to look it up right now because
But-
now all of a sudden we don't know
But
for sure.
who
But we think we know.
who that number 1 player chooses from across him or her.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I think that's the
It's-
more interesting one than every other one.
And you know
man.
what? It's like, and I'm so tired of the NFL draft. I just watched the end of the WWE draft last night. Meh.
How good would it, how
But
good
this
will it
draft is
be?
gonna be
How good
cool.
will it be if the person that number 1 person picks beats him? That's
Yeah.
how good it's going to be, man.
Well,
So
it's
we'll
got
see.
a little bit of
It'll happen.
a NC2A vibe
Yeah,
to it. You
little
never know
upsets.
because you're picking your own poison at that point. We're not picking it for you.
Looks like it's Isaac.
Looks like it's going to be Isaac.
Oh,
Okay. So right now, you got to start thinking. You're on the clock. Well, not really because you don't know who
Yeah,
you're picking against.
yeah.
But the bottom line is, it's all this draft stuff. We're going to have to come up with another way. We're going to have to come up with some flashy graphics for next season if we do this again. But I love the final twist. I love the fact that 16 additional pros have an opportunity to come in and be part of the skins game. The skins game has been so much fun this season. And it's the one thing I think when you and I talk to people around the country about, we could do this too. We could bring in this format. They're like, well, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
I love the format. And, just spitballing, even while we're talking here, maybe the other people can throw in some ideas. But right away, thinking about next year's frame game or skins game, we could just take it next year. Moving forward, if this program works great, Finn, and the top 8 seeded players pick from the bottom 8 that make the cut, right? So that
Don't
could
know.
be an interesting way to look
Plenty
at
to
it.
talk about in the off season,
So-
which there is no such thing. Anyway, we'll do that. So Branson, don't
We'll
forget
talk
May
about it down
24
in Punta Gorda.
and 25. Yes. So there's your plan for the final skins challenge of the season. Punta Gorda in June after the season is over. It's just a great big 3-day weekend. The Gulf Coast Classic involves a $20,000 purse spread out over 3 days. An opportunity for you to spend some time at the Twisted Fork with the big Bagmaster Challenge. And again, this is the one where we've thrown down the opportunity for you to dress your team out. If you are a bag manufacturer, a couple teams did last year, and that certainly did make an impression. And it might have made them play better. I don't know, more like a team.
We haven't figured out what it'll be, but there's definitely going to be something to the best dressed bag
Okay.
team there. So we got to come up with that. We got to brainstorm on that, but we're going to come up with something, Finn. And maybe we'll talk about it in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, who knows? And if you're the worst dressed team, there probably should be something for you too, like, I don't know, maybe a thrift store gift card or something. I don't know. Or maybe get one of the best dressed teams to give you some tips. But that's a big part of the Twisted Fork on the first night, June 13th, and then 14 and 15 we're at the 4 Point Sheridan. And it starts later in the day. Again, we've talked about it. And I know you know a lot of this, but it doesn't hurt to remind you because you've got so much swimming around in your cornhole brain right now that it never hurts to remind you that you want to be a part of all of this. So let's talk again about the Civil War. And that would be the ACO Civil War this weekend. North against South once again. We asked, will the South rise again? And who will rise out of the North again? I think I know. He thinks he knows. We'll be up north. And this guy is going to be down south. We're going to divide and conquer with 2 different streams. Who does he think's going to win? I don't know. He knows. And he has a lovely background this weekend. How about it? A little time to fill, huh?
Let's fill it.
Welcome to another episode of Time to Fill. South Dakota. If you didn't go this year, make sure you make your plans to go next year. What a beautiful place. What a beautiful country. had plenty of time to explore, and congratulations to my friend Dustin Arant for taking down the singles field there. Now, this week we got two majors. We are headed to Toledo, Ohio, and Mobile, Alabama. I got notes here because I can't remember all that. So let's start out with Toledo, Ohio. Let's go with women. I'm going to go with McKenna Ballou to take down this field, but watch out for Josie Clare, Josephina Ernsberger, and Martina Belt. This is a loaded field. Both of these are actually loaded fields in juniors. I'm going to go with a repeat. My friend Adam Alessandro, who threw really well in South Dakota, but watch out for Carter Guy and Bryce Jefferson. And seniors, Michael Hoaxang, but he's going to get a big challenge here from Tony Pena, returning this week to action. In co-ed, I'm going to go with Josie Clare and Braden Easterling, but watch out for Martina Belt and Russell Tabors here. In doubles, I got to go with the team of Zach Keir and Braden Easterling, but watch out for Tyler Amos, who's teaming up with Rudy Fernandez, and also Brandon Earls and Darren Zastro here. In singles, I'm going to go with Brandon Earls, but watch out for Tyler Amos, TJ Miller, and Tony Pena here. On to Mobile. So, in Mobile, another stacked field. So, let's start out with women. I'm going to go with Emma Jernigan, but watch out for this name right here. Jackie Amos. She's from my area here, and she can flat out play. In juniors, I'm going to go with Mason Higgins, but watch out for Caleb Rogers, Riley Brewster, and also Spencer Garner in this field. This is a loaded juniors field here in Mobile this week. In seniors, Daryl Macon, but watch out for Paul Schroeder. If he's through traveling around to all the islands, he'll be there ready to play. And Scott Mitchell, who's been playing really well. In co-ed, I'm going to go with the team of Jackie Amos and Terry Amos to take down the field in Mobile, Alabama. In co-ed, let me tell you something. They made a huge run in the Worlds last year in Owensboro, and they're going to win this thing. But watch out for Dustin Arant and Taylor Owens teaming up here. And also Justine, I had to mention Justine Smith. She's teaming up with Jacob Whaley. Sorry. In doubles, I'm going to go with the team of Craig Irvin teaming up with Tyler Goodwin here. What a super team they're going to make here. And watch out for Johnny Thomas and Daryl Macon. And also Tyler Rush teaming up with Sebastian Barger. That's some strong teams right there. And in singles, I'm going to go with Craig Irvin. But watch out for Mason Higgins. You know he can make a run in singles. And also Tyler Goodwin and Zach Rush. And that's going to be my picks this week for Time to Fill. If you think I should pick you, prove me wrong.
It's like, I tell you what, I was mesmerized, not just by the picks, but by the Bob Ross painting back
You know
behind
what?
Phil.
I like the picks, so I'm going to toast those.
There we go. Cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Very good. Those were good picks, although I'm not sure who Tyler Rush is, but I think that would be one hell of a player. I think it was just a little slip of the lip. But I'll tell you something, he had his hands full there trying to pick out of those two stacked fields of what's going on. And there's going to be, no matter which stream you're watching, maybe you pull them up both on two different pieces of machinery, as my mom likes to call her computer.
Machinery.
She also has what she calls her phone, her machine. But anyway, it's going to be a huge weekend. North versus South.
If only we had a machine that could answer some of these questions.
Yeah, well, there is. Yeah, right. Oh, a handheld. It's an inside joke. It's not that great, but we have fun with it. The bottom line is, who's going to take the title? I mean, there's still room to get into both tournaments, I believe. Not a lot, but there is still room. So who's going to come out dominant? I would have thought landslide, because it's our first trip to Toledo. I would have thought Mobile would have dominated, just having, being a return to Mobile, Alabama. But the fact that they're this close warms my heart, and I love the Civil War idea here. So we shall see. We'll have a full report next week. Let's see. Oh, and we got to get to the results of this past week, because we got so mesmerized by everything that was going on around in Deadwood and the Badlands and
there was a cornhole tournament that went on?
Actually,
there was a cornhole tournament. Okay, there you go. Let's talk about
that. That happened in the Black Hills at the box. And can we go back to the opening slide? Can we just that right there? Tina Candler, I think, took this picture. If you don't know who the three of those people are just from the backs of their heads, then you must be new. But I will tell you this, looking out over the Badlands, something that made me smile from ear to ear, and that has been seeing Tammy and Junior Williams everywhere we go. England, they went and experienced England. Totally different vibe. Well, I don't know that they have ever been out this way, out this far out in the country. But the fact that they are out there and kind of wrapping their arms around the whole ACO family, this was might have been my favorite picture, if you cut Candler out, of the entire he knows I love him, of the entire weekend, because that picture speaks volumes of the vast exploration of what's been going on this season. I really do.
I do too. And what's interesting is there's so much to look at.
Yeah.
Each one of the people seem to be staring at something a little bit different. I feel like Junior's like staring at that mountain configuration in the back. Tammy seems to be crossing over Candler's view. I don't know what's over here to the right, and Candler seems to be looking at the mountains in the distance. So it's kind of cool because, again, there's so much to enjoy and so much to look at, right?
I do. I keep waiting, though, for John Goodman to step into the left side and throw Donnie's ashes all over him from the Big Lebowski. But that to me might be my favorite picture of the entire weekend. So many, though, so many good ones and so many great results. Starting with the Bagmaster quads, and congratulations out off the left coast. How about Pitch? Pitch Bags team comes in, steps up, takes the championship. They've been doing pretty well this season. You've had a handful of bag makers. I think it was Lucky's maybe last week. CBC's won a handful of them. IMF has been in there. I think Big D might have gotten one. Maybe they grabbed Tulsa, but we've had some good ones. How about co-ed doubles? The aforementioned Aaron Candler and Tanner Miller. So Michigan and Wisconsin, typically bitter rivals, but come together for co-ed doubles. Congratulations to them. Co-ed doubles, I think the Mississippi Ninja picked this one, Maggie and Wayne. No surprise there. And I believe the two of them are featured as ACO players on the website this weekend, if you want to check them out. Some nice features on them. In juniors, a first-time purple jersey winner, Adam Alessandro out of Indiana. Nicely done there. And I know you heard Phil pick him again this coming week. Bob Heil, Michigan's own Bob Heil. He looked to the heavens and he said, "Give me this one, make it happen." And he did. In fact, we were so proud of him, we took his picture twice. Once one way and once then the right way.
Bob Heil has become such a name in the ACO,
huge character
in the world of cornhole in general. He's such a good player, but I remember, back to the days in Kansas, when he won his first event there, and was so elated, finally getting over that hump. And he's like a lot of players who work hard for a period of time and then finally win that first game. Only to keep rolling on and be getting better and better every time. So if you see Bob Heil on the list of any tournament, there's a very good chance that he's going to be surfacing to the top, if not winning that.
Well, hell, he just won back. What was it? Mid-April, he won Cedar Rapids. I think he won seniors in Cedar Rapids. Let me look back here and see if I can see any others.
But no, he's a good dude, man. Appreciate, and he's one of those guys that lives.
Oh, right, Charleston. That's right. I forgot Charleston.
So, Bob, we're bringing one closer to you next year too, buddy. We're coming to Duluth. So that's in the mix, baby. So it's a done deal, baby.
I did not know that. That is news to me. You heard it here first. So did I. Women's, and you'll see more about this coming up at the end of the show with Chad and Kim's Cornhole Adventures. How about Kim Dice? Congratulations. Nicely done. Doubles, and then it's a repeat. How about Maggie and Wayne? They stepped into play and they stepped in to take home the hardwood, and they certainly did. They did a great job and took down doubles. So congratulations, Wisconsin's own Maggie Geiger and Wayne Rao. And then this one, first purple jersey of the season, which is crazy because if you've been watching the ACO TV behind us, you might have seen him when we first came on. Dustin Arendt. How about that?
That's a name, and he's a player, man.
Tennessee tuxedo. He had it on, and he was throwing fire, and he took singles down, and he's another one that Phil is very high on for this coming weekend. So congratulations to all of our winners out of the Black Hills. What a great weekend. I mean, the pictures were just staggering. I was out of town for my daughter's graduation, and so Saturday and Sunday I was seeing the pictures come through. I couldn't really do anything with them, but I was watching the pictures come through, and I'm like, God almighty, this looks like a lot of fun. We got to go. And Deadwood's cool. You get in there and you see where Wild Bill, was shot dead and all these different things. It's just so much history.
Yeah, no, I mean, hopefully Maggie and those guys got to get out and enjoy some of it, because I remember reading an article in one of the newspapers that did a story on them, and they talked about daughter and dad traveling all over the country to go to these tournaments and stuff like that. And the one thing that they talked about was they'd like to get a little bit more time to experience the places that they end up going to, and hopefully the two of them got to experience Rapid City, because again, like you've already said, Finn, and I keep hearing and I keep seeing, it was a phenomenal place in the United States to go and visit.
Well, the weather couldn't have been any better from what all the photos indicated. And I would tell you too, the Saturday format seems to be giving people extra time to get out and explore and do and go, depending upon where you play singles or doubles or how you structure your weekend. That format seems to have become very popular
in a short
this season,
having
been test driven in Shreveport, Bossier. So that's cool as well. But again, that's why we always talk about, maybe put an extra day on the front or the back, and then do a little research if you're going somewhere where you've never been. I'm looking forward to getting to the Pacific Northwest, because I've not really gotten a chance to do that. Medford and out west, with Howell and Burnett,
Pocatello, Fresno.
Yeah, so many. That I've not had a chance to. So they're on my bucket list. So I totally get what you're saying. Get out there if you want to get out there and see some stuff. It's a great reason and a great centerpiece for what it is that you want to do. You mentioned the Road Dogs. The list just keeps growing. The world schedule we put out there for you, an overview. It's on AmericanCornhole.com. There's one big overview, and then there's one that has more specific times. More is going to be added to that, including an event regarding AAU junior sports in cornhole, bringing more juniors into the game. That's going to be awesome. We'll tell you more about that, but it's all the information's out there, and we've put it out to the AAU, and that's a database not to be trifled with.
And then you already mentioned. I mean, we're gonna make some more announcements of what's going on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday leading into the World Championships. But just to throw it out there to the general public too, if you're just tuning into the ACO for the first time, come on out to the World Championships. There is activity that you can do. That tailgater zone. You do not have to be a member of the ACO to play in the tailgater zone. 32 different events going on over a 4-day period. There's cash money on the line. There's trophies on the line. There's bag prizes on the line. You get to experience 16 different bag partners. We'll list those out in the next week or two. That list has all been kind of finalized. But again, I'm saying this not just to the ACO family, the people that play in the ACO, members of the ACO. This is open to any cornhole person. And by coming out there and being a part of this, you can be a part of the World Championships. And I would argue that it is the best cornhole experience on the planet.
No question.
Bar none. So, come on out. If you want to get a little taste of the ACO, come see us at the World Championships. Be a part of the tailgater event.
Yeah, and especially this year, throw Owensboro back-to-back in Owensboro, Kentucky. If there was a second home for the ACO, you'd probably say Owensboro, Kentucky is it, with a decade plus in the relationship. But you are starting to see these same sorts of relationships develop all over the country, and it just makes it bigger and bigger. It starts creeping more and more. We talked about last week with Dallas, outside Dallas, Grand Prairie, the building out of AJ's, and then watching that spread, and then moving west of the Rockies and watching that spread, and you being out on the West Coast this past weekend, Manchester, England, and then some. It just, you just feel something. There's something, how you can feel, like sometimes you feel a sense of dread, but also there's a time you feel like a sense of like electricity, like something's happening.
Yeah.
That's the sense that you have right now. And if you don't, you will, because I do. I know you do. But I think the right way to end this episode, give you your Taco Tuesday back, is first off to mention that next week we are going to do a couple of things. We're going to be talking about, because we talked about who we thought was going to win the World Championships this year. Who would be our king or our first ever singles queen? We've had queens of cornhole, but a singles queen of cornhole holding the title exclusively. Who would it be? We put our early choices out, but now it's time to talk about our dark horse choices. And so what are the criteria for dark horse? Has not won a major in any division?
This season.
In singles? In singles.
We're just going singles.
So a dark horse has to be somebody who hasn't won in, hang on for a second, my lawn guy is out finishing our job. The hasn't won a singles major this season. So give some thought to that. We'll ask you to chime in next week and let us know what you think. We'll also give you the Civil War results. Will it be the North? Will it be the South?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple things I want to say, Finn, before you wrap things up.
Yep.
But one is to answer Jack Harcrow's question here. When will the first month of the ACO be determined and laid out? Promise you by the end of May here, we will have a pretty good feel of what the major layout looks like for next season, including what all of September looks like. We are still diligently behind the scenes working on this, and it's coming together nicely. I think everybody will be very, very excited about the events to be announced in September, as well as the rest of the season. The other thing is, I wanted to mention everybody. We'll get the Bagmaster quads, results at the end of the season. The Bagmaster winner will win a pretty decent prize. We'll talk more about that as we move closer to that. Right now, the plan is not to do any kind of tournament at the World Championships as it relates to the final standings of the Bagmasters. That's something that was this is our first year to
experience. It's like Premier League. If you won, you won.
Yeah, you won. That's it. And the other thing is, you were talking about dark horses. I just want to make my own call. I know Philip made his call for this weekend, but I got two dark horses.
Weekend, okay.
I got two dark horses this weekend. In Toledo, in the doubles division, I'm going to have to go with Eric Heinerman and Frank Geers.
Oh, kiss my ass.
In the co-ed division.
Shut up.
In the co-ed division.
Yeah, you and Heinerman.
In the co-ed division. In the co-ed division, my dear friend from the ACO's whole nation, Rich Pyle and Tracy will be there. But
Tracy, what are you doing?
Tracy and I are going to be pairing up this weekend, so look out, co-ed team. So anyway, that's all I want to get my 2 cents in. So thank you very much, Finn, for letting me talk for a change. Go ahead, buddy. Finish it out. That's it. That's a wrap.
No, we also, the one thing I want to do, we mentioned the photo at the beginning, the crew in the Black Hills. The Candlers were out there. It's the first time I know they've been able to hang out for a minute with the ACO family. The rest of the crew, want to thank them for pulling everything off. So
absolutely.
Give the proper tip of the hat to everybody that was out there, if you would.
Oh, Tammy and Junior and Aaron Candler and Tina Candler and anybody else that lended a hand out there. But that was the core of the crew out there. And I'll tell you what, Finn, I can't wait till you and me and Heinerman get to go out there and experience Rapid City next season, because that venue looks awesome. The area of the whole community looks amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a special place for sure.
You and I are going to have a gunfight at the OK Corral, I think, down there.
Let's do it. That could be pretty. But instead of shooting bullets, we'll just shoot some bags at each other.
Right, absolutely. Fire when ready. All right, and no better way to wrap up the night when we talk about the Black Hills than Chad and Kim. Honest to God, you guys should be producing Hollywood films. This is a great piece. If you didn't get to see it, once you've seen this, you'll feel like you did, and you will feel like we do about, oh God, I got to get out there. And it's not just being there, it's how you got there and what you did when you got there and everything in between. So we're going to leave you with your Taco Tuesday back, and then when we wrap ourselves up the way we normally do, we will share with you Chad and Kim's Cornhole Adventure. But in the meantime, happy Taco Tuesday. I'm Finn, the loudmouth for the ACO. We will see you in Toledo, or we will see you online in Mobile. He is Frank Geers, the Cornhole Dude, reminding you,
keep on pitching.
All right.
This week on Chad and Kim's Cornhole Adventures, we're headed to Rapid City, South Dakota. First stop on our 22-hour cross-country trip is Metropolis, Illinois. Can you think of anything cooler than a whole town dedicated to Superman? Metropolis was Superman's hometown, after all. It features a museum, giant statue, and all kinds of Superman memorabilia. It's a must-stop if you're ever in the area. After a couple photo ops, a little shopping, we were back on the road, headed towards Missouri. Our first stop in Missouri was Pappy's Smokehouse. We immediately felt right at home when we saw they had cornhole boards hanging from the ceiling. Pappy's has been featured on numerous television shows and is known to have America's best ribs. The food definitely didn't disappoint, and the ribs were absolutely delicious. No trip to St. Louis would be complete without making a stop at the Gateway Arch. I was slightly nervous about making the trip to the top, considering I'm slightly claustrophobic, but having the glass door made it not that bad, and it's only a 3 to 4 minute trip. Once we got to the top, the views were definitely worth the trip up. So cool to be able to look out over the city. We were blessed with a beautiful day where we could really see far. Also cool to be able to look down at the people just playing down in the park below. We really enjoyed the visit, and I would definitely add it to your bucket list. In case you guys haven't caught on by now, obviously we really like food. And we happened upon this cute little ice cream place on our trip called Utterly Moolicious. And if you're ever in Missouri and go by there, it's a must stop. The ice cream was to die for. We were back on the road, and after taking our time and almost 2 days of driving, we finally made it to the South Dakota Badlands. And I was so excited to finally get to see a wild buffalo. I had always wanted to see one. The Badlands didn't disappoint. They were gorgeous, such beautiful, unique terrain, and so much wildlife. We saw prairie dogs, bighorn sheep, tons of deer, turkey. It was a really, really great experience. So if you're ever in South Dakota, don't skip the Badlands. It's a must-see. After an awesome day in the Badlands, we were back on the road again, and finally we were getting to Deadwood. I was super excited to see Deadwood. There's so much history there, and the whole fact that it's supposedly the most haunted town in America was kind of appealing, even though I'm a big chicken when it comes to scary stuff. We actually stayed in the Bullock Hotel, which was featured on an episode of Ghost Adventures, and if I would have had any idea I was sleeping in a room 2 doors down from supposedly the most haunted one, yeah, there's no way I would have slept. Deadwood is famous for being the location where Wild Bill was shot at Saloon Number 10, so obviously we had to check that out for ourselves. I definitely recommend stopping by the Adams Museum. We spent the afternoon there, only $5 donation admission, and it is packed full of Deadwood memorabilia and history. We really enjoyed Deadwood, and I look forward to going back. Our next stop was the place I've been waiting a lifetime to visit, Mount Rushmore. It's been on my bucket list since really as long as I can remember, and it was awesome. President's Trail was definitely worth the hike, and we were fortunate enough to go right at sunset, so we got to see it in the day and the glow of night. It was so cool. We made a stop at the Crazy Horse Memorial, which it's been under construction since 1947 and still nowhere near completion, but still very, very cool to see. So our next stop on our trip was Wall Drug in Wall, South Dakota, and we just had to stop. There literally was probably 1,000 signs from Iowa until South Dakota advertising this store. And it was so cool. It was huge and had tons of random cute little shops and a great cafe with some great food. Lots of great photo ops. It's just one of those cool little roadside places that you just have to go see. Finally, after almost a week of sightseeing, we made it to Rapid City. We stayed at the Fairfield, which was walking distance to the venue. It was great. The Box, which was the name of the venue, was top notch. All of the workers were so helpful, the prices were good, and the facility itself was beautiful. It was really a perfect place to play cornhole. We had an up and down weekend on the boards, but somehow pulled out my 7th major women's win. Not gonna lie, this adventure is gonna be a hard one to top, but stay tuned to see what's next on Chad and Kim's Cornhole Adventures.
Hi, I'm Rich Pyle, the host of Hole Nation, where we share everything this cornhole and a lot more. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and catch our new videos every Wednesday at 7. And remember, whether it's sticky or slick side down, bring it.